dear students, welcome back. Let's continue the topic fungi from biological classification. So here we have discussed the general features of fungi. Then let us discuss the different types of fungi, the different classes of fungi. Okay, the first group Phycomycetes. Then the next group Ascomycetes. The third group Basidiomycetes. And the fourth class is Deuteromycetes. This classification is based on number of features. Their hyphae, how their hyphae is, how are the reproduction strategies. Based on so many features, this classification is done. Anyway, there are four major classes of fungi: Phycomycetes, Ascomycetes, Basidiomycetes, and Deuteromycetes. About the first type, Phycomycetes, they are mostly aquatic. Phyco means algae. They have their origin from algae, we can say. They are mostly aquatic. Their hyphae is aseptate. You know, the hyphae is not having partition walls, no septa, but it is cenocytic. Okay, aseptate, cenocytic hyphae, the Phycomycetes contain. So the Phycomycetes, they contain aseptate, cenocytic hyphae, and their asexual reproduction is by forming sporangiospores. Two types are there: zoospores, motile, non-motile, aplanospores. Their sexual reproduction is by forming normal spores, zygospores. So Phycomycetes, common examples are Rhizopus, Mucor. Rhizopus you are very familiar. This is what is drawn as Rhizopus, a bread mold. Okay. What is shown here is an asexual spore. Sporangium is shown. Sporangiospores are shown. Asexual spores are shown here. Example for Phycomycetes: Rhizopus, Mucor. And there are some members which are parasites on mustard. Albugo. Its name is Albugo. Okay. So the Phycomycetes is the first group of fungi. The first class. Aseptate cenocytic hyphae. Asexual spores are sporangiospores. Sexual spores are the zygospores. Examples: Rhizopus, Mucor, Albugo. Okay. Then the second type, Ascomycetes. Ascomycetes. Keep in mind. Okay. These members are having septate hyphae. Both this group are having septate with the partition septa. Septate hyphae. And their asexual reproduction spore is shown here. It is by forming conidia. These spores are conidia. Okay, they are sexually reproduced by forming conidia. And yeast is a member under Ascomycetes that reproduce by budding, asexually by budding. Then this conidia are formed on conidiophore. This stalk-like structure is known as conidiophore. On this conidiophore, conidia are formed. Mature conidia are seen at the tip, younger ones at the base. Okay, mature one will be getting detached off. So it gives a pencil brush appearance for penicillium. Okay, anyway, asexual reproduction is by forming conidia in Ascomycetes. Sexual reproduction is by forming ascospores. That's why the name Ascomycetes. In order to produce ascospores, it has some sac-like structures called asci. Singular term ascus. Okay, and this ascus, number of ascus are present, number of asci are present in ascocarp. Just keep in mind, if this is a fruiting body, ascocarp, just initiate, if this is an ascocarp of Ascomycete, in cross section, suppose we have taken a cross section, you can see number of chambers. Okay, called asci. Singular one is ascus. Each chamber is called ascus. And inside the chamber, it contains number of asci. Inside the chamber, you can see ascospores. So just keep in mind, Ascomycetes fruiting body, the big structure is known as ascocarp. Within the ascocarp, asci are seen. Some sac-like structures are seen. Inside the ascus, we can see ascospores, the spores. Okay, the spores get detached off and produce into new hyphae. Okay. Examples of ascomycetes are yeast, penicillium, aspergillus. These all names you study because maybe they are for entrance questions. Neurospora, it's a very common research material because of the so many features. Neurospora, etc. And also you remember the name claviceps. Another example, this is one drug is obtained from this LSD, one drug is obtained. So that name also you study. So these are examples of ascomycetes. Okay. So ascomycetes, specially about ascomycetes, ascocarp. The fruiting body I have drawn. The next group is basidiomycetes. Basidiomycetes. Okay. The basidiomycetes, almost all mushrooms come under basidiomycetes. Okay. Then two other important members which are causing plant diseases are Puccinia, which is known as rust fungi, which cause rusting type appearance in plants, and Astilago, which is known as smut fungi, which causes smut appearance in plants. Both are attacking plants. Puccinia, Astilago, mushrooms. Mushroom, common scientific name Agaricus. Familiar, Agaricus are common examples of basidiomycetes. When we discuss about basidiomycetes, its hyphae also the same way, septate hyphae. And important feature, there are no any asexual spores seen in basidiomycete. It reproduces only by sexual method. In sexual reproduction, whether it's isogamy, anisogamy or oogamy, in sexual reproduction, it forms a big fruiting body. It is known as basidiocarp. You are familiar about that. Okay. It forms a very big fruiting body. Okay. The fruiting body has a stalk called the stipe and an umbrella shaped portion called pileus. Okay. And under this portion it has number of chambers called gills. Gills are present. In this particular gill portion only it produces basidiospores. Here only it produces basidiospores. Anyway, this fruiting body is known as basidiocarp. Okay. Basidiocarp. Okay. And the basidiocarp contain basidia. Outside it contain basidiospores. Exogenously it produce basidiospores. Basidiocarp contain basidia. Basidia contain basidiospores. Ascocarp contain asci. Within that, ascospores. Inside the asci, ascospores. Whereas basidiocarp contain basidia. Outside the basidia, basidiospores are seen. Not inside the basidia. Basidium is singular term. So, basidiospores are the sexual spores in basidiomycetes, but they have no asexual spores. Are this all getting confused? Just compare and study. This is aseptate. These two are septate. This is having sexual and asexual spores. Here also sexual and asexual spores. This one is not having a sexual spore, only sexual spore. Both these are having a sexual reproductive fruiting body. Its name here is ascocarp, here is basidiocarp. Ascocarp produce number of ascae, contain number of ascae. This contain number of basidia. Inside the ascae, ascospores are formed. Outside the basidium, basidiospores are formed. Okay, that's about the basidiomycetes. Then the last group, it is known as deuteromycetes. This group is known as deuteromycetes. Okay, all characters are written there. They also have a septate hypha like this two like, and even scientists are having confusion because is it a new class? Sometimes if further studies are available, this may either fit into these two groups. Scientists say it may be either an asco or a basidiomycete, but its sexual stages are not seen at all, not studied at all. That means deuteromycetes are the fungi which are considered as imperfect fungi because its sexual spores are so far not discovered. So it is under a separate class, deuteromycetes, imperfect fungi. It has only conidia as asexual spores. No sexual spores are found so far. And examples are Alternaria, trichoderma. It causes skin diseases in human. Then Colletotrichum. It causes diseases in plants. Colletotrichum. These are, see, Alternaria, Trichoderma, Colletotrichum are 3 examples of Deuteromycetes. That's about the 4 classes of fungi. Study seriously and study all the examples. Okay, these all examples are there in your textbook. You have to study this seriously. Don't forget the names. Okay, don't make mistakes. If the fungi with the diagram is fully clear, we can move on to the last topics: viruses, viroids, and lichen. See, if fungi is clear, we can move on to the last topic of the chapter. Before that, there is Kingdom Plantae and Kingdom Animalia in your textbook, and that 2 chapters we have separate for Kingdom Plantae and Kingdom Animalia. That time we discussed. And here, the last topic of the chapter: viruses, viroids, and lichens. These organisms have not mentioned in Robert Whittaker's 5 kingdom classifications. You know why viruses are having not a place in 5 kingdom classification? Because viruses are not having a life its own. If it's present in the air, it's inert like. It's like an inert dust or dirt. It has no life. It's a crystalline substance only. But when it enters a host, whether it's a plant, whether it's an animal, it's a bacterium, when it enters to a host body, it gets life. So it has no any correct place in Whittaker's classification. It is a non-living substance outside the host, but it comes to the status of a living substance only when it enters a host cell. You know the fact. Okay. So viruses can be having 3 types of host. Either it can attack a bacterium or a plant or an animal. So its host can be a bacterium, a plant or an animal. And a virus which attack bacterium is known as bacteriophage. Lambdaphage, 5. Okay, so many examples are there. Bacteriophage. A virus which attacks bacterium is known as bacteriophage. A virus which attacks animals is known as zoophage. A virus which attacks plants is known as phytophage. So based on the host, viruses are of 3 types: either bacteriophage, zoophage or phytophage. Okay. And before moving to the different types of phages, you know, it is D.J. Ivanovsky who named virus. D.J. Ivanovsky named virus. Okay. It is Beijerinck. That one bacterial name was Beijerinck here. It is Beijerinck who first found that these are the organisms smaller than, there are such organisms smaller than bacteria. Beijerinck. Just remember, it is W.M. Stanley first crystallized viruses. This is the scientist name you have to keep in mind. Okay, it's Ivanovsky who named virus. It's Beijerinck who first seen the smaller organisms, and it is Stanley who crystallized these organisms for the first time. In their body, they only contain protein, a protein covering, and a genetic material. Actually, the body of the virus means protein and genetic material only. Okay, nothing else is present. So, this is remaining as non-living outside. So, its genetic material and protein only present in the body of the virus. So, we can call virus is chemically nucleoprotein. Nucleoprotein. What do you mean by genetic material? You know, it's nucleic acid and protein. The virus is chemically nothing but a nucleoprotein, a nucleic acid plus protein. Okay, so virus is a nucleoprotein. Then we are discussing what type of nucleic acid is present in this, whether it's DNA or RNA. Both DNA and RNA are possible in viruses. The first case, if it is a bacteriophage. If it is a bacteriophage, its genetic material is DNA. In a bacteriophage, the virus contains, and the bacteriophage means a virus which attack what? Bacterium. Okay, the virus which attack bacterium. It contains DNA as genetic material. A zoophage contains RNA, single stranded RNA, double stranded RNA or DNA. All these possibilities are there. A zoophage, a virus which attack animals, may contain either single-stranded RNA or double-stranded RNA or DNA as the genetic material. Okay, whereas a phytophage usually contain single-stranded RNA as the genetic material. So, the genetic material in different types of viruses are different, either RNA or DNA. The RNA can be single-stranded, double-stranded, and also DNA can be present in zoophage, whereas bacteriophages contain only DNA as genetic material. Plant viruses contain mostly, some exceptions are as what? Single-stranded RNA as the genetic material. Okay, whatever is genetic material, its outer covering, protein covering is called what? Capsid. Okay, in HIV virus and all the structure you might have seen in the textbook of your previous class. Okay, see, the outer covering is called a capsid. Capsid is made up of number of segments known as capsomeres. Capsomeres. Okay, just keep in mind the protein coat of virus is called a capsid and it is made up of individual segments called capsomeres. Okay, then what are the benefits of virus? Do the virus do any benefits to you? Anyway, they are used in RNA technology that you will learn later. Anyway, most of them are causing harms. They are infectious to others like bacteria, plants and animals. Okay, they cause very serious diseases like chicken pox, herpes, HIV, okay, mumps, rabies, like so many diseases in human, and they cause so many harm to plants like stunted growth, dwarfing, leaf rolling, mosaic pattern on plants, getting loss of chlorophyll, vein clearing, like so many symptoms in plants. It harm plants, productivity affects, it harm animals. Okay, so that's about the virus. In short, we have completed viruses very few. Then about the viroids. Viroids are first discovered by T.O. Diener. Okay. Oid means something less than a virus, it means. Viroid means something less than a virus. Nucleus, nucleoid, you know. Less than a nucleus is nucleoid. It's not a true nucleus. Here it is not a true virus, something less than a virus. So, a viroid was first discovered by T.O. Diener when he was studying the disease, spindle tuber disease of potato. Spindle tuber disease. Because of this attack, this viroid attack, the tubers of potatoes becoming spindle shaped, very narrow. The productivity is very less. It is due to the attack of viroid. So, viroid is harming plants. Okay, it is infectious to plants and this is having not even the protein coat. It contains only the genetic material. Only the genetic material, that is nothing but an RNA, not DNA. So a viroid is an organism which consists of only the genetic material RNA, not even the protein coat. What is less than a virus? It is not having a protein coat. It contains only the RNA as genetic material, nothing else in the body, but it can infect plants. Was discovered by T.O. Diener. Okay, so the viroid disease is spindle tuber disease. Okay, and this RNA is having very low molecular weight compared to our RNA and other plant RNA. So this is of very low molecular weight. Okay, that's about the viroid. About the lichens. Lichens, you know, they are symbiotic. Okay, they show two organisms existing together. Both algae and fungi. You know that. Okay, in lichen studied earlier. In lichen, both algae and fungi exist together. The algal partner is called the phycobiont. Some more elaboration is required for entrance point of view. We will discuss it later. Now just understand the two members are phycobiont and mycobiont. Fungal partner is called, algal partner is called the phycobiont. Fungal partner is called the mycobiont. Then the algal partner prepare food by photosynthesis and provide it to fungal partner. So this is getting benefit. This is getting benefit from this. It is preparing food and giving them. Then fungal partner help in fine absorption. Fungi consist of mycorrhizae like roots, can be deepen and help in absorption of minerals, like especially like phosphorus. Okay, they help in fine absorption of nutrients, and the fungi forming a filamentous-like structure to give more area for surface area for absorption. And it help in fine absorption and provide the nutrients to algae for preparing food. So both are mutually benefited. It's a mutualistic relation, mutualism. Fungi and algae show mutualism, named as symbiotic relationship, in which both the partners are benefited. The algal partner prepare food and give it to fungi. The fungi derive its nutrients from algae, whereas fungi is absorbing more nutrients from the soil, minerals from the soil, and providing it to algae for the preparation of food. Okay, and another important significance of this lichen: if there is pollution, lichens are not seen in that place. In an environmentally polluted area, lichens will be absent. So lichens are considered as pollution indicators since they are not present in the polluted area. Okay, that's all about the lichens. So we have completed the chapter, and some more elaboration we do for the entrance point of view in our live sessions. So see you later with another chapter, another class. Okay, thank you.